Welcome back to the ASUS Dreamleague Season 2. I wasn't sure if we were in-game or on camera there, but we're on camera because that's what people demand, and here we are. We're going to into game number 2 of Team Empire versus virtus.pro. Currently, Team Empire took the first game, which means they just have a 1-0. All games are separate. They're all best of ones. You get a point for each win, which is fantastic. You don't get anything for losing, though. We're not that kind of organization. And yeah. We're going to get ready to go into the draft. And last game, I have to say, I really like the support duo. Actually, every player on Team Empire for me has been awesome.
I'm going to help you out.
Oh, we're going back in? What's happening?
They apparently have hosted the game as AP. Apparently you have to re-enter your password.
Okay.
Yeah, but Empire just seemed to be a step ahead of everyone else in the European East Division, just in terms of individual play, their team coordination. Everything they do just seems to be very, very in sync. Like, they know exactly where to find these openings. You said it actually before the games even started. Like, whenever they see something that can be punished, they punish it.
Yeah.
And the last game, it was BZZ in Sedoy. Like, they were just the butt of every single gank. And they couldn't do anything about it just because the Shadow Demon and the Mirana, that combo doesn't actually become, like, better, you know what I mean? Like, it's just as good as it is at level 1 as it is at, like, level 7 or whatever level you are. So if the arrow doesn't land, you're not going to get the kills. And they landed, like, 1 or 2 kills from it, and then after that, it was just nothing came of it.
Yeah. But going back to Empire as a team as well, I think Solo and Always Wanna Fly are a fantastic support duo, really. Yep. Like, Always Wanna Fly seems to be just in terms of like where he is on the map, great positioning, and Solo in his movement and also like the kind of heroes he plays, actually being able to get some kills and lockdowns. So he's been great. And then Silent on your carry. Yoki's been doing good on his off lane, and Resolution's always been strong. And he was like one of the standout players last season. People were like, okay, I want to see like Resolution versus Dendi mid because that's, you know, his kind of caliber of play these days. And he's certainly bringing it here as well. So we are going to go into the second game, and we are now back into the draft after our remake. Void's going to be removed.
I like that. I like the fact that virtus.pro have obviously been watching the Empire games and say, okay, they really like to pick Void, they like to pick Magnus, but Empire are one of those teams where even if you pick the stuff that they're kind of leaning towards, they still have so many other things that they can do. We saw them run like a Wisp Ogre Magi the other day, and they just completely crushed with it, just walking around the map, tower diving tier 1s at like 8 minutes into the game, and just completely slaughtering. So the thing that's scary to me about Empire is that even though they have some tendencies in like what they want to run, they can still run anything just as good as anybody else.
And they don't seem to play anything that's high risk, I've noticed.
Yeah.
They haven't picked lineups that are like, oh, you have to do this or you lose. Kind of like the Mirana and SD. You know, it's like you have to lock down the lanes for X amount of time or you lose. They kind of pick stuff which is like, hey, well, our game plan's going great. If you don't do anything about it, you're going to lose. Oh, what's that? You made a mistake? Thank you very much. We'll take that hero and your tower. Little thieves, Empire.
That's a good way of putting it, though. I like,
that's how they play.
It's really a low-risk play.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're so good anyway.
Yeah, the execution is superb.
That it's like anytime you make a mistake, you just feel that looming sense of, oh God, what have we actually done? And this is a combo that we've seen plenty from them, the Magnus Ogre Magi.
Yeah, we have to say, though, Razor coming out for the team of VP, that's a hero that they did want. They wanted the Razor, but they've given away 2 heroes that Empire certainly know how to play and play well. Magnus will most likely be going to Resolution. Can't imagine it being anything else. And the Ogre Magi just a very strong hero. But Razor, very tankable. A lot of people, you know, just pick up the mech and then go into BKB or stuff like that, and hopefully an Aghanims a little bit later if you can. He's just a nightmare to lock down. Like, I hate him personally. He's don't like his name.
He's not fun to play against.
He's not fun to play.
I mean, he's not fun to play. He's not fun to play against. He's just like the anti-fun hero.
It's basically like, it's like everyone else is a hero. You're just kind of like a walking tower of damage. You know what I mean? It's like some of his abilities might as well be in tower defense. You know, the pulse and the
Dude, it's like Lightning Tower from Green TD. That's your ulti.
Yeah,
that's basically what you are.
Lightning Tower from... And he's mobile.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting.
And AA, actually, this early on. A bit interesting that they decide to go with this hero. Now, granted, it's really nice for the laning phase because you can just ensure that you have a tremendous amount of damage with Chilling Touch, and we saw something kind of similar to this the other day. I think, what was it, X game? who actually ran the AA in a tri-lane or something like that?
Yeah, I think they did.
And they had a Visage as well, right?
Yeah, but they ended up trading oddly, I would call it, and they didn't harass the lane well enough, and then the chilling touch kind of fell off as their heroes fell over. But yeah, it hurts. It's dangerous. I hate seeing it when you play against a Weaver and you've got an Ancient Apparition on the team.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my God. But with the Ancient Apparition, you want to hit your Ice Blast, the ulti, and that's really important. So I'm wondering what VP are going to want to do in terms of lock down some of the enemy heroes. Maybe it's a puck with the Dream Coil, but who's to say? We don't know because we're not virtus.pro.
That's true. And the thing about this patch is that people are still doing a whole heck of a lot of new things. So, I mean, people said this is the patch of Magnus, so that's why Empire likes to run it. And Resolution has always been a Magnus player, so some heroes that were recently buffed are coming back into the limelight, Ogre Magi, of course, being one of those as well. But in general, people they want to try to get out of the 6.81. I mean, yeah, banning Lone Druid, probably not a terrible idea. We saw Silent completely ravage X game with that hero.
But you can actually steal a lot of damage from the Lone Druid as Razor, right?
Yeah, the Razor Lone Druid matchup in of itself is kind of nice just because you can just drain the bear all the time. But if it's Bloodlusted and you have Rabadon, that bear runs so fast that even a Razor wouldn't be able to keep up with it. So it's not as if you're going to get full links all the time. And plus, you have to keep in mind, you got to be pretty close. And you don't want to have to get like RP'd. You don't want to get stunned up by an Ogre or something like that.
All right. Well, maybe Lone Druid will still be in the plan for Team Empire, but it hasn't been banned out. virtus.pro removed the Terrorblade and also the Wisp. And then we did actually have the Visage removed out and Nature's Prophet. So
10 seconds
Visage in the laning phase with the Ancient Apparition hurts, as mentioned earlier.
I think that they're probably going to end up picking either another solo laner or a support now. I don't think they're going to pick Silence Hero until a little bit later. I mean, they've already seen the Razor, so they have a good idea of one of the cores right now of virtus.pro. But I wouldn't necessarily consider... I mean, Magnus is a core, but he's kind of like an initiator team fight core. He's not a hero who just soaks up a ton of farm and gets items, right? So, and that way, I think that Empire kind of have a little bit of a leg up. They already have good Disable. They have Empower and Bloodlust, so whatever hero they want to pick to partner with is going to be great, and it looks like it's going to end up being a Bristleback, so likely going to be seeing
if the fights go long, that's a good amount of damage output, and certainly you can soak up a lot of what Razor's trying to do in the team fights, which is, you know, it adds another hero that kind of plays a similar way, but I would say almost less potent. You know, it depends who has the better game, really.
I actually just, as far as a Bristleback against Razor goes, I hate it, because every time you goo, you actually just, you get passive all the time. Like, you can't ever catch him yourself. But of course,
I think he's there for the supports, really. Take down the supports. And if the fight goes long, at least you've got an exchange, you know, in terms of the overall damage output. It's like, that's your sustained damage. Your Magnus is your initiation. Your Ogre Magi is, you know, also like counter initiation and just good magic damage and stuns. Your Bristleback is kind of acts similar to like a Weaver that we saw, I think, Team Empire play on day one in terms of just going around the back. And then Rubik's going to be picked up to play with the Ancient Apparition. I don't find this an incredibly strong duo on a lane. So they probably won't see much or any rotation at all. They're literally probably just going to keep their core safe. And this could open up some play for the team of Empire, because Ogre Magi can move. He can rotate.
Yeah.
He's got legs.
He can tower dive at very, very low level against these heroes who don't have any escapes. Like, you're looking at an AA and a Rubik. I'm thinking, even if you put an Ogre and a Bristleback in the same lane with another support, that lane will dive those supports and kill them.
Yeah, but I think the Razor will be with them.
You think the Razor is going to be in the tri lane and not mid?
Could be.
Well, I agree, it could be, but I'm just kind of leaning towards, I think they want to put Razor in the solo lane.
Well, diving against a Razor, you know, with the supports, you're just asking to get
Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
Witch Doctor coming out for Empire.
I like that hero in terms of synergy with Magnus, of course. If you get a good RP and some point in the game you manage to get an Aghanims, you're obviously going to completely dominate with your ulti. Also, Maledict.
You should be able to hit it. It's longer range now, right, Maledict? Cast range?
Yeah, like 180-ish or something like that, longer than it was before. Or not, maybe not 180 longer.
I think it's 180 now.
Yeah, 180 in general. So I think with the combo of like Ignite, just a Fire Blast and a Maledict, you can pretty much kill a hero. Or they could just go the sustain build as well. I mean, with the Bristleback and Ogre, you're already so tanky anyway that you can just go, like never stop.
Also, with the Witch Doctor, that's a very easy ultimate to steal.
It is, but I think the Rubik's actually going to have a pretty hard time this game. Because your positioning, you're going to have to play so far back, you know?
I think you're only playing against the Magnus positioning. Like, in terms of not getting RP'd. I think if you don't get RP'd, you're pretty okay. Hey, there you go. Got
I like that.
War Runner as well.
Yeah, I like that a lot. They needed something on their team that gave them a little bit of flexibility in terms of what they could do in fights. Because right now, you had such static heroes, right? Like, even Razor, even though he's fast, you don't have a way of getting out
Locking someone down.
and keeping somebody still for a long period of time. So I think the Centaur is definitely a step in the right direction. And they've saved their core until last, as has Empire. Or I should say they're one. They're hard carry.
I don't know, man. Razor safe lane. It's never going to happen, is it? I would never predict
I think he's too level starved to put safe lane. Because you really want to get Link maxed and you want to get Plasma Field maxed.
But what if you picked... I mean, if you get that mech, you're happy. And it's like, maybe it's not like, I wouldn't consider the levels being like a huge deal, as long as you can get a mech and an early tower. And if you get like a mid core that might end up rotating a little bit more, you could probably throw that Bristleback off his tower. And then, you know, Witch Doctor, in terms of rotating, is kind of like not so mana efficient in terms of like his spells are pretty expensive and there's no guarantee how good they're going to be.
Yeah.
Like when you throw out an unstable, a cast, not unstable concoction, paralyzing cast, it's like there's no guarantee how good it's going to be for the follow-up of your team. So I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right, but we'll see. So we're going to have Spectre removed, and they think the same way as you. They think there's a core coming for VP, and they remove the Spectre. And LC is going to be banned out here from virtus.pro. So the final pick for Empire, is it going to be the Lone Druid?
Could be. I still think the Lone Druid fits really nicely here. Even if, I mean, you're going to be fighting into Centaur Ulti and Ancient Apparition, Ice Blast, and things like that. The amount of deep push that VP have, I think, is still sufficient to be able to deal with that kind of early pressure. But I think the Lone Druid just synergizes really well with the team in general. And it's a hero who, if you really want to, after you get a couple of core items, you can just build a pipe. But they decide to go with the Gyro, which is, I think, I don't want to say safer choice, because they're not going to be able to push as well. But the Gyro gets to stay in the back, where the Lone Druid kind of has to be pretty close to make sure that his bear can continually auto-attack. And a Bloodlusted Empowered Gyrocopter, the kind of damage that can deal is going to be pretty sick. Yep. Plus, again, if Resolution finds his RPs, which he always seems to do, you're going to have really nice follow-up with Call Down, all sorts of other stuff.
Lifestealer.
And it's going to be a Lifestealer on the safe lane. So Lifestealer final pickup. What do you make of the Lifestealer pick?
I don't really think the Empire plan on going aggressive. So my real concern is the Lifestealer will be able to farm, obviously. Like, BZZ is not going to have any hard time, even against a Bristleback. But I think the supports at VP are going to be hard-pressed to find something to do. I mean, they could do the lane control. They could try to pull and get, like, level 5 and 6 on Yul and Jotum to make sure that they're going to have the Ice Blast and things like that and Spell Steal. But to be honest, I really kind of favor Empire just even in the late game. Like, their team scales very well. Even though Bristleback, he kind of falls off a tiny bit, but you have all these great abilities to make sure that all your damage output is still going to be ridiculous throughout every stage of the game.
I think this game's on G. I think this is how well the Razor performs going into the mid game. That's what's going to happen. So let's introduce who's playing what. Ancient Apparition, one of the supports here, going to be played by Jotum. He's also joined by Yol on the Rubik. And farming the safe lane will be BZZ. And he's probably happy he's not playing Jakiro. G Center will be playing on the Razor, and on the off lane will be Sidoi on that Center War Runner. So I think those two cores are going to be hugely important. And for the team of Empire, always want to fly on the Ogre Magi. Solo going to be playing the Witch Doctor. Silent playing the Jakiro. Resolution on the Magnus, of course. Mid, we'll see what he's able to bring. And Yoki is going to be playing the Bristleback. And we've seen a couple of Bristlebacks so far. I can't remember. I think they were actually on the losing team, the Bristlebacks. I seem to remember...
What was the Empire's Bristleback? Because they haven't lost the game.
Yeah, but I don't remember how many times they played Bristleback. I think once?
I don't actually think they have played it.
Yeah, I've seen Bristlebacks and they've lost.
Yoki's played like a bunch of Void and the Tidehunter.
No, it was the other VP team and also
Polar,
KZ, that were picking the Bristleback. So wards, we're going to have just a ward there down to make sure they can see the supports coming through the tree line to harass. In the middle, this Razor, should be doing fine.
Yeah.
Like versus Resolution.
This is just a flat-out win. Like, Razor beats all melee heroes. He actually beats almost everything, period. So Resolution will find his farm once he can start spamming out the wave. And you can see he's been pulled a bit as well. So he's going to go for the super, super fast bottle. He only needs one more CS to make sure that he gets it. And once that happens, you get level 3, you just shockwave spam. I think he deals with the Razor better than a lot of melee heroes can. So I'm not really too concerned for middle lane as far as Empire goes.
Well, the thing about G in the middle lane that I think is maybe the only concern is rune control. I don't think he's going to have a lot of runes unless he really destroys Resolution like he currently is and pushes them away for every 2 minutes, because I'm expecting the Ogre Magi to actually rotate quite a lot for these runes, and Resolution certainly will be wanting to get the bottom rune.
I feel like Resolution should be able to get the bottom rune most of the time, because if the supports of VP leave, Yoki's going to have a really easy time soaking EXP and things like that. So again, I really feel like VP supports are really hard pressed this game. Top lane, you look, and it's a Centaur. That hero, sure, he has really good strength gain, but he's no Bristleback. Bristleback is very hard to kill. They're going to try to go on him, though. Open Wounds comes out. This is with Chilling Touch as well. Yoki could be in some serious trouble here.
God,
I believe he is dead. One more hit. Easy secures the kill. And even with, well, he had a ward. It got dewarded. And it looks like that's why he ended up dropping there. So nice start for VP.
Yeah, very nicely done. Sentry dropped, and this means that the VP will be able to get one of the runes, and it'll be Yol that gets the bounty. And on top, you can see Empire supports much easy to rotate, and it's going to be haste up on onto Solo. They're going to just throw down a little score stun, and Resolution just looking. He's got a skewer. He doesn't actually miss it. They need one more hit from the Solo, but unfortunately, he's picked up under the tower. Yol's rotation through the bounty rune will help him get the kill, and G will just walk this off. So 2 kills going in favor of VP, 2 very crucial kills, and the fact that it's not even just 2 kills, they saved G mid, which is a hero that I still think needs to play fantastically the whole game, and that's the danger point. It's like these runes, VP should be able to control them the most of the time. The only reason they weren't able to get both this time, Empire should be able to control them most of the time. The only reason they weren't able to get both is Yoki ended up dying. And he might have a hard time here as well. He gets picked up. Icy Touch will hit all 3 members of his team. And BZZ going to eat through the Bristleback. He's crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Delicious.
I'm really kind of confused as to why he was even there in the first place. Like, he saw Yol go mid, help get a counter kill. He hadn't seen Jotum for some time, ever since he died for the first blood. And then he just decides to walk into the woods. Like, I don't know. I think he needs to play a little bit safer. Because giving away these kills, this makes the supports of VP very, very strong, because if Yol and Jotum get an early level 6, that's best case scenario for VP, because that's the one weakness I felt like their draft had. And middle lane, Resolution going for a solo kill here on G. He does no damage, literally no damage. The static link proving to be a little bit too strong, and he won't be able to finish it, but almost.
Yep, and Yoki looking just stack the creep wave. The next set of runes, again, in my opinion, very important. And as you've mentioned, the supports on the side of VP should be able to be like, yeah, this is, bottom runes under control.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they can get that. And we're going to see the supports of Empire most likely start rotating soon. But even if they do start rotating, it's the Centaur will pick up quite a lot of farm. But we just check the Centaur's regen, because this, for me, is quite interesting. Yeah, he's got 0 right now, and he's just got enough of boots. And we know that Silent knows how to push Gyrocopter to the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he runs down Centaurs. And the Centaur is what level as well? I think it must be like level 2, level 3.
Yeah, he's level 2. Halfway
level
to
2.
level 3.
Yeah, and always want to fly, has boots, and could also go behind the tower or make something happen with the rune. So, going to be pretty painful to watch this Centaur if Empire play well. But they have something going for them right now, which is that Rubik AA, and the kills that they've got and prevented will be taking the bottom rune, and you can see the top rune is going to be a DD. They're going to give that to Resolution. Always want to fly here, and I'd imagine they're going to go top now. Maybe not with Resolution, but at least always want to fly. If they don't go top, they're going to go back mid, but they might have a hard time here because that Razor's not easy to kill, and he's also got backup in the shape of a Rubik, which is a very annoying hero to dive into.
They got a ward here as well, so I don't really think this can, because any chance whatsoever to succeeding. The one thing that's interesting to me is that Sadoy is actually level 2, whereas Yoki is almost level 4. So he's like the YYF right now of Empire. He just dies a few times, but gets a lot of EXP. And speaking of, he could be dropping again. He does have a TP.
Got a TP off there, but...
It would have been close. No, you're right. He definitely could have. If he TP'd like immediately, he could have lived. But unfortunately, that means that Yoki is now going to be 0-3. So definitely not having quite as good of a time as he did in the last game.
And stacking for Silent. Solo is currently assisting with that. I think Always Wanna Fly just stacked as well to the small count. Yep, he did. Or medium count now. Okay, Wapaz. Yeah, they stacked a lot. Always Wanna Fly doing work for this gyrocopter, which could be a really fast BKB. So he wants to be that way. So G in the middle, gonna get stand out, scoot back into the tower, and he will be dropping. And that's the first kill on the board for Empire, and Razor the job, and Resolution did get the last hit, up to 1,000 gold now. What do you build on the Lifestealer in this situation? Is it just fight, drums, phase drums, go ham?
I do like the phase drums S and Y, just because Armlet would be okay too. But you have things to worry about like Maledict, Ignite. Anything that has a lot of damage over time typically is bad to build Armlet against. Sadoy, in the meantime, going to get caught by a call down in top lane. He's going to eat the Rocket Barrage as well. Ends up dying to Silent, but I do favor the race car build on my side.
RP from Resolution mid. G gets pushed back into the tower again. Will he another stun? And he won't be able to walk this one off. And Yol comes in, and this is how it feels like when I play Rubik. It's like sometimes it just feels really fucking useless.
Well, when the supports are actually split, that's when they become very weak. I mean, unless you're going on Yoki bottom and you have the Lifestealer and the AA.
They need BZZ to slow them down. Like, their kills would not come in based on just a telekinesis. Yeah. I mean, they need to play with that Lifestealer, and they've kind of not. But this is also the danger of that Ogre Magi. It forces your supports to rotate out to try and help your mid. And Ogre Magi does that all by himself. You know, it's a Resolution, of course, with him with the RP, but he just offers so much. He's a nuisance.
The other thing, too, is like the synergy between the two players has been really nice. Like watching Always Wanna Fly and Resolution just combo play. That first skewer was so close to not hitting when they skewered G into the tower range before he even had RP. And that kill is huge because it puts Resolution in the spot where now he's got Arcanes and he's level 7. And he can spam out the wave as freely as he wants. And that also helps with the rune control that you were mentioning that's so important to the side of Empire. And bottom lane, Yoki is just, he's not having a great time. He's really not.
No TP for you. Resolution wants some of this farm.
He is actually 80% of his team's deaths right now.
How many?
80%. 4 out of 5.
That's good.
Well, not for him. I mean, he's got 5 CS. Always Wanna Fly is tying him right now.
At least he's good at something right now, you know what I mean?
That's true.
So I am leading, winning that award.
Also important to remember, though, that even though Empire is slightly behind right now, Silent has 64 creep kills at less than 8 minutes.
I don't feel that they're behind. Like, I think they've done a great job versus G. I think G's been slowed down tremendously from Always Wanna Fly rotations. I think the supports are falling off on the side of VP. And Empire, their supports are just being fantastic at stacking and using their time well to get their cores ahead. We have RP available again on Resolution. He's just going to back away from the static link and pick himself up a bounty rune. And
illusion for him. Bounty for the AA.
Okay. Yeah. And again, it's like, look at the Rubik's level 4, AA is level 5. I mean, they won that AA level 6. And he currently is pulling in his jungle. But this is dangerous. Like, Resolution is getting so close to that Blink Dagger, and I think the Lifestealer is still a big factor as well, because he's had a great game so far, BZZ.
And I think it's actually a really nice team for a Lifestealer to play against. A lot of these heroes are melee, and they want to be in the fight, and that's what Lifestealer loves to fight against. He wants the beefy heroes who have a lot of HP that he can just sit there and just massacre, basically, during the duration of his rage.
Magi, Magnus.
So I do think a lot of it's going to be based on BZ's performance. Also, if the Centaur can somehow find a blink, I'm not sure how he's going to do it right now, because Sadoy just got his first CS of the game. That was the first creep that he's managed to hit.
It's all uphill from here.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue is G was the one that you were looking to
He's having to stand really far away versus a Witch Doctor, by the way.
Yeah.
Cannot go in range and risk maybe getting like 2 bounces on him.
He doesn't want to look at it go.
He doesn't want to see it go.
It's understandable. But I feel as though the shining light for the team was supposed to be G for the early stages of the game.
Yeah, but they can't protect him. You know, he was doing great, but actually Resolution did get a solo kill at one point. I think he almost had a DD, I want to say, to actually make that happen. Oh, Ice Blast going to come in. BZZ looking for an open wound, does get it, and Resolution is just going to piss, and he's gone.
Nice reaction. That's one problem that VP have is besides the Centaur Stomp, they only have Telekinesis as a stun. So a lot of the ganks that have been happening are very easily avoidable so long as you carry
you have the HP
scroll.
and can TP. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Sidori wasn't able to do so. He didn't have the HP to live through Chilling Touch. But if he gets it more, yeah, he can. And then that Lifestealer might will have to go Basher, and we're pretty sure. I talk on Andy's behalf there. We're pretty sure the Lifestealer's going to have to go Basher. Aren't we, Andy?
Well, after the SMY. I think that would be the next item progression. Top lane, though, Solo going to get lifted into a Centaur Stomp. The double edge still hits pretty darn hard, even at level 3. Sugoi going to eat an Ignite here. Changing Apparition. Ulti going to be a bit off. Always Wanna Fly has a DD, man. He just wants to hit. He really wants to hit him. Silent. Call down. Should be able to clip Sugoi. Just barely. Always Wanna Fly goes in for another Fire Blast, but Silent could end up dying for this. BZZ, the hero right now on the side of VP. One more auto attack gets the kill. The lift actually stuns Silent anyway. Here comes a double coming out from BZZ. Resolution misses a skewer. Yo with the jukes. He's going to run into the side shop right now. He has enough mana for a TP. Should end up dying. Even throws out the Spite Ignite.
BZZ needs the piece on this. I'm not sure what he's planning on doing.
Oh, he's fine. They don't have any damage.
Really nicely done to send that Rubik there and not actually be noticed to get the kill. And then Empire didn't play that great at all.
He wants to go for solo. Resolution has to RP if he wants to save him. He just wants to make him dance. Here it comes. BZZ might have overcommitted a little bit, but the Witch Doctor gets shattered. The ulti gets stopped. BZZ putting on the juke shoes. Goes to the right-hand side. Resolution like 0 for 3 on skewers right now. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's like 2 for 5 that I've seen at least.
Empire struggling. That was not the exchange they wanted on the top lane by any means. And Jordan been farming all the meanwhile. And you can see, yeah, of course, he's been level 6 finding those Ice Blasts. And Sidori, apparently up to 1,000 gold now. Don't know if he can probably just skip Tranquils and see if he's lucky enough off the pace of this game, and maybe BZZ changing it around with his team on the top lane to get himself a blink.
I think people really forgot how good Lifestealer is during the early game. If you get even just one item and a pair of Phase Boots, Orb of Venom, you're so scary. Because during Rage, you deal a ton of damage. He hits for 130, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's only 12 minutes in. Plus you have to account for feast damage, the fact that he's extremely fast when you pop a drum charge and you just phase, and there's nothing you can do except for what Resolution did, which was RP. And even then, it didn't matter.
And Resolution camping above Tier 1 tower was actually spotted. They've had 3 wards center Empire. One of them's dropped now. And top lane, we're going to see an Ice Blast coming up to solo. And BZZ is just going to drums out. He wants to get him, but actually looked like he had auto attack on there for some reason, and actually just ended up twatting the tower. Silent does have a Yasha and will be able to chase with his... So Phase Boost misses the cooldown, unfortunately, and, well, BZZ will be able to get out, and so far, his game has been fantastic. That's 4 people rotating. You're creating a lot of space here, and you actually need to create space for your Razor. The Razor mid or G, like, I think he's got an Ogre club, and, yeah, he does, so he needed this time to farm, and I think he'll still be able to help defend the Tier 1 tower top if that chooses to be the case, and I'm pretty sure he should do, but where's Resolution? He's actually going through the river. He has been spotted by a ward unless they smoked up. I'd like to see if that's the case, but both follow this fight for the moment. BZZ going to go on to solo after he's been telekinesis. Fatebolt will pick up the kill. Resolution mid with Always Wanna Fly. I'm not sure if they did smoke, but either way, they get the initiation. Jodam going to drop. G, I'm not sure how much he's stolen in terms of his link, but it looks like he's doing a significant amount of damage. Yeah, 56, and just maybe one more hit away, maybe 2. It looks like it was 2. Nope, it was only 1 as the Rubik will come in and help pick up the kill. Silent going to be dropped, and, well, Resolution wants to keep going on this, and BZZ once again comes back in and could be the problem. We do have Resolution kind of left out in the middle of nowhere. No, where is Resolution?
Oh,
he was
Silent.
left out in the middle of nowhere.
Silent, you need to get out of here, dude. You need to get out of here. The jukes, he doesn't have enough mana for lift.
That's DD as well.
He did steal Rocket Barrage, though, which is kind of neat.
Resolution is just, is he farming? Yeah. Flame Dagger on Centaur, by the way.
Yeah.
Bit of an awkward fight to cast that one. Too much going on.
Well, there was two engagements.
These kids need to slow it down. But yeah, again, that Lifestealer is just a threat. It's such a big threat on the map. I mean, we just see a repeat of before.
He can't do anything. Like, this is what a Lifestealer gives you. You just walk into heroes who don't have an escape mechanism and kill them. That is Lifestealer in a nutshell.
Got Sand as well as his first item after drums. All his drum charges are gone, by the way.
Yeah, that's a sign of a true race car gamer. You just out of drum charges after like 10 minutes. I like it though. I just like the fact that BZ's been so proactive about trying to get these kills on the map, because a lot of people would just sit there and farm because they have a free lane, but you really, really want to punish the squishy heroes and the supports on the side of Empire.
Yep. It's helped G out tremendously. He's got his Ags, and it's also helped the Centaur, Seedoy, get his Bling Dagger. So Empire, I felt they were looking pretty good, but right now it does seem a little bit risky. There's going to be a lot on Resolution's RPs, and looking to initiate. There's the blink. Gets two. Misses the skewer, but it's all right. Always want to fly. Always want to. Well, wait. Always want to fly. What am I saying? He's just going. He's there. He's an ogre. Sorry, it's Solo who ends up throwing in the cast and helps almost secure 2 kills. It does only get 1. Sun's going to be picked up by Yol and thrown away as Empire look to chase, and they want none of it. And BZZ is here behind the tower as well. They've already done a lot of damage, but I don't think they're going to be able to get this tower. I think G's okay to come back and help. I think it should be an easy defend. In comes a Fade Bolt.
Yeah, it looks like they're not even going to try to push.
That skewer miss, though.
I think he meant to turn before he RP'd and assumed he was facing the right direction, but just like immediately did it instinctually and just kind of biffed it. But hey, it happens to the best of us.
I'm very surprised they weren't able to get more off the Witch Doctor ulti. They only picked up Sedoy there. And it felt like they should have been able to pick up 2, just because of the cast was actually...
yeah, it held it in place for quite a while. Resolution going for a skewer, actually hits on 2. He's going to get stunned up though. Resolution dropping, the call down comes out from Silent. He's going to be able to pick up a double, make that 3. G throwing out the Static Link, wants to try to take him down. Unfortunately, Rocket Barrage does not care about Static Link even a little bit. Ignite from downtown. Silent decides to stop chasing. Figured he could have actually gone for that, but G might still die to the Ignite, does do so. And now looks like Empire are going to try to push into the tier 1, but unfortunately Silent actually doesn't hit for damage right now.
I just want to say Resolution made up for last team fight. Link into Skewer, grabs 2. This whole team there able to secure themselves 4 kills and always want to fly, getting the Ignite kill on the end of Razor. So this tier 1 tower, man, these guys like it.
He's in the deny range right now.
They want to keep it alive.
Oh, nice deny by Yol. Teleport coming in. Ice Blast coming out as well from Jotum. It's going to hit on Always Want to Fly. The blink forward into the double edge. Scares the way to kill.
Well, that tower got denied, but it's gone. But the whole of VP find themselves in the middle.
Oh my god, BZZ is so fast. He's on the hunt. Play the Jaws music.
I think he's going to get shut down if he goes for this.
He pops the rage. He's going for a creep. He's trying to do a little bit of damage here. He's going to hide inside of the high health creep. Very nicely done. It's going to be fine for the moment. He might need backup because this new creep wave is coming and he's going to have to run.
Oh,
there's a coconut.
And maybe it's just enough. Silent.
Oh, he's down.
That last one. He will get the kill. Nicely done. And in the enemy jungle of VP, we're going to see Resolution picked up and thrown away. Not sure what was stolen there. Oh, sorry,
Empower, unfortunately.
Says on the right-hand side, G going to have to run. Yoki, not sure what level he is actually as well. Been catching up in this game just from staying alive. He's level 9 and does have a ring of regen. Ring of help, sorry, but he hasn't finished his
Pops his way. He's got this in Viz. He's looking to try to make
You want to
happen.
kill Silent. You don't care right now.
He can kill him so fast, though. If Jotum had ulti, I think he would have gone immediately, but Ice Blast is still on cooldown for a little bit longer.
G 1,000 gold away from his Aghanims. Yoki, again. Would you go Vanguard here, or do you want to do like a pipe and actually offer something to your team? I don't think you're a threat or a target really in these fights, but you also don't want to just get eaten. Okay, so she's just going to pick up.
Yeah, I think he's going Crimson Guard. because he's got the chainmail and the Vanguard together. So
How helpful is that versus a lifestealer, do you think, Crimson?
I still think it's pretty good. 50 damage block is nothing to really shake a stick at, especially considering your team is majority melee. Like you got Ogre, Bristleback, Magnus. The damage block is still fairly large. And plus, you want some raw HP. You don't want to build too tanky in terms of flat health against a lifestealer, but the fact that it gives you armor too also negates some of the feast damage. So I still think it's a really solid pickup. He'll probably go pipe after the fact, but getting the Crimson Guard is also really nice for tower pushing.
I think you need everything team-orientated as your Bristleback right now. It's like you're not really offering like solo kills, or you're not really going to be the target. So I love picking up support items on anyone you can, really, in terms of Crimson Guard, pipe, Vlad's, mech. Here we go. We've got a 3-man smoke going into the bottom lane. Behind the tower is going to be G, and he is getting the fuck out of here. And,
really nice
good
game
call.
sense, actually. Like, that's really nice game sense, the fact that he TP'd out of there.
Yeah. Well, this is good as well. Like, I would give up this tower for mid tower any day.
Yeah.
Ice Blast is going to come in as well, which will slow Silent down in terms of he wants to rotate and fight. He has finished his BKB after his Yasha. And BZZ will get the last hit on the tower. And that Empower, I think, is still in play. And BZZ's been using that to farm as well. Rubik's going to pick up a blink here. This is the closest game I think we've had in the whole of Dreamleague so far.
Well, it's not over yet, so it definitely is the longest game that we've casted. Of the last 4 games, this is the longest game we've cast, which is crazy to think about, because that means that there were 3 games in a row that ended before 20 minutes. So I'm pretty pleased. And the fact that the Rubik now has Blink means that the positioning is going to be a heck of a lot easier for Yul. We're looking at RP steals potentially now, which would be huge. Being able to RP when you have this kind of team, think about a follow-up Centaur Stomp or a Double Edge and like 3 or 4 heroes with an AA ulti on top of that. That's some serious damage.
I can't even think about it. It's too much, Andrew.
It's too much. Literally all the damage.
And the Crimson Guard's going to be finished sometime soon. And the Tier 1 tower mid did go to VP, and they're looking to get the Tier 1 tower top. But at the cost of a Roshan, as Empire will be reflecting this shortly. But no, VP actually want to contest. So let's see what they can do. Roshan just down to about 30% life. And in comes the Ice Blast. And even if they get the Roche, this fight could go really bad as 4 of them get hit. And BZZ is like, yo, what's up? I hear you like Roche. He doesn't collect it, though. It's going to go to Silent on the gyro. But BZZ in there, taking out Solo. Resolution comes in. It looked like the RP was almost used outside moments ago. We'll have to see. I think it was, yeah. It was used just outside. And, yep, they lose 3 for it. And the gyro with the Aegis will get away, Silent, and they wanted that RPT here for sure. But that's what happens when you get hit by 4 people with an Ice Blast and BZZ has no fear and will just run in. Certainly went in VP's favor, but with that Aegis, it can turn very quickly in terms of just how the game is going to go. Because you're sure you wipe them, but you're now up against a gyro with an Aegis. And your Tier 2 towers are going to be the target for Empire soon.
The big thing about Gyrocopter versus Lifestealer is that he's one of those heroes who usually just gets in your face with an Infest inside of the Centaur, for example, who has had the Blink for some time. And that usually just takes the gyro out of the fight straight away. Because even if you pop BKB, you still have to run away from the Lifestealer, who's also going to be magic immune. So with that being said, now you can just have that 1 life where it doesn't matter if the Lifestealer does that. And by the time you come back from reincarnation, there's nothing left for the Lifestealer. He doesn't have rage anymore. He doesn't have open wounds anymore. He just has to bail. So having that kind of safety net for Silent is going to be really, really nice. And if he wants to, he can just go straight into a damage item and force VP to go on him. Because if he gets an MKB, or if he gets a butterfly, which seems to be the choice, it's going to be so hard actually to kill him twice.
A good chunk of armor, and that butterfly is going to force out an MKB. But the top tower will go down. Went down to BZZ, just kind of snuck it away as Solo and also Yoki were kind of rotating. If they got a smoke on them here, does it look like they're looking to smoke up? Nope, always Wanna Fly is going to buy a smoke and fly it out. So it does look like they want to take a team fight. And if they are to win a team fight, they will definitely push out some towers and take a nice lead. And you can even see the net worth almost up to, oh, it's actually 4,000 more than the Lifestealer, but certainly not too far ahead. And you can now see a Javelin coming out. So that's going towards an MKB. No.
It could be MKB, it could be Basher. I think the normal Lifestealer build would just say go straight for the Basher.
But because I think now, when you see the Eagle,
yeah.
You have to go MKB.
I mean, he was in fog for some time, so he didn't really know what item build he was going to be going, but I'm sure he does now. And he'll probably alter his builds accordingly. But the one big difference right now between Empire and VP is that the farming efficiency of Silent is so much easier because he has that flat cannon. BCC needs to be careful. He's going to pop Rage, casually walk away. Solo is just here behind enemy lines, just surrounded by VP members right now. Doesn't care. G can casually TP out in fog. A little bit of
Silent with his Bloodlust and Empower. Some damage. Going to TP bottom. They want to pick up Jolin. He was heading towards his Zags, and it's actually only 700 away, but now he's going to give up his life, but retain his gold as it was reliable. So he's still just about 700 gold away, but it will slow him down a little bit. But like, I'm okay. If I'm VP and Jolin dies and my team are somewhere farming, I feel like pretty comfortable. It's like the butterfly isn't going to be the end of the world on the gyrocopter. But the next item could spell the doom if you are not keeping up in terms of farm on BZZ, which I fear that he's almost not going to be able to do so. Like,
it's too hard.
Yeah, Silent's farming speed is just so fast in terms of they even stole Ancients away from VP's side. Resolution blinks in.
The farming speed of Silent is too much. When you have Bloodlust and Empower at your disposal the whole game, it's really nice to be able to steal those abilities if you're Yol, but ideally you want to hold stuff for team fights. You don't want to have to steal and Empower just so BZZ can keep up and farm. The thing about Lifestealer is that he is an aggressive carry. You want him to be able to fight all the time, and you want to continually apply pressure, which VP have kind of fallen off in that aspect in the last probably 10 minutes or so. And giving up the Roshan was definitely something that Empire are really happy about now, because Virtus.pro basically say for 6 minutes, now we can't do anything. It's like...
If we finish the Ags on G, we must have. Yeah, we finished the Ags.
Yeah, he's had it for a bit.
And what's the Centaur going into as Resolution wants to kill Yol? We'll check it out in just a little while. Well, here it is. So
looks like he's going BKB.
Yeah. Okay. And they've almost got their Ags on the Ancient Apparition, so it's not too painful. Well, so he's always going to blink forward, which actually means he's now going to get skewered into Yoki, and an RP will come in. Ice Blast, though, to return, and both of them are going to dodge it. And they're actually looking to just disengage, and rightly so. I think, Yoki, you need to get the heck out of here, because there's 5 members of Virtus.pro with a very fast BZZ looking to chase you. And if they do escape and give up nothing, Empire get another victory, as they will look to maybe take this tier 2 tower. One TP coming in. It's going to be Sadoy on half.
That won't stop them.
That's not going to deter anybody. Aegis is gone, by the way.
I think he might just go lifesteal next. I don't see any real particular reason why you would want to finish Mata on Silent, but if he goes for the Satanic, he'll be pretty darn strong. Solo chasing down G, is going to get skewered up to the high ground. Look at it go, indeed. He might be able to live through this, actually. There's no RP up because he used the bottom.
Kind of got back.
He doesn't
up.
have a TP, never mind. He's in trouble.
Oh.
It's not great for G right now. He's in panic mode. Here comes Always Want to Fly. There's a Fire Blast. No multicast even necessary right now. The Static Link goes off, granting quite a bit of damage, but will eventually die.
Space created.
Yeah, no kidding, right? That was like 4 heroes just chasing around. And I like the fact that he actually ran towards Empire's base instead of towards his own, because even if he would have had backup, it's still not really a great fight when you don't really have anything left in the tank.
I don't think he could go mid, because Silent was actually there. And it was Yol with him, and Yol was trying to be the backup, but wasn't able to get into position. What spell does Yol have, as both Aghanims are up for 2 supports? And
he doesn't have anything.
No, Yol, you've been spotted!
Now he's dead.
No, you're dead. He's like really angry. He's like good friends with Yol. Look how pissed he is.
He's gonna kill Always Want to Fly.
Should be able to get the kill, but in comes the cooldown. Always Want to Fly will drop, and BZZ will just hide in the belly of a creep. I don't know how that spell is actually meant to work. Does he enter through the mouth?
I hope so.
I don't want any other options. But a fair exchange, but really G dropping for VP is kind of painful. But Aghanims on the AA, how much of a difference do you think that's going to make in these team fights?
It's really good if you can hit the supports with it, or even just Resolution for that matter, because it disables Blink for so long. So if you can get it off and the RP hasn't been expended, then it's kind of nice, because it just means that you can very easily avoid the Magnus just like skewering into you or something like that. We've seen how good VP are at dodging skewers, so we know that if they're on their game, they can just avoid a really, really bad RP. Or they could just throw it out casually to D-push as well. It's always good to do that.
I almost think BZZ could have gone on that because he had his whole team back up. You can see that this is like a very tense moment for both teams because Empire want to fight. They had a ward down. It's now going to get de-warded by your sentry. But they're ready to fight. Solo is like, I'm going to throw the sickest ulti down you've ever seen with his Ags. And starting with an Ice Blast on a Yoki and also Silent, with BZZ, that could have been the go sign, but you had to like wait for Resolution to come in to counter-initiate, and then you were going to really need Yol on the Rubik to make something happen. So this is tense for both teams. I'm not sure how this is going to go down. BZZ going to slow. Actually, there's going to be a stomp. Silent just sat there. Okay, this is...
Oh, boy.
Well, that's... You know when I said that the solo, he's going to be like, I'm going to get a really sick ultimate? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was...
Okay, so first, they initiated on a hero who had a BKB. Like, Silent BKB'd, obviously Yoki still got hit by the stun.
The BKB,
right, but the real problem with that initiation is that Resolution was nowhere near those heroes. You have to expect that the RP is going to be coming out, and you engage, like, in front of the tower. You ideally want to engage when they're on the tower, and that just really was a very, very awkward engagement, and we just showcased how much damage Silent actually does when he's bloodlusted and empowered and has BKB on. He hits for over 330 damage right now, and he's got 5,600 gold to his name. Roshan's up, by the way, and now they don't really have any method of fighting because Centaur ulti is down.
No, that's pretty much, I think that spells doom for virtus.pro here in game number 2, that one fight. It's like, you had to stop Yol from channeling his ultimate. And he was in such a good position and so safe. I literally was like, when I looked at him, I was like, oh man, he must have just blinked there. Because like he was so well positioned. And I was like, oh no, he didn't blink. He's just, the initiation was, yeah, we run at them and hope we hit a stomp. But if they did actually get the stomp off and were able to stop that gyro from doing a lot of damage on top of Resolution, I actually think that Yol might have been able to steal RP and blinking himself and do something. But here we go, Roche is going to get contested by just Seedoy by himself. Crimson Guard is going to be used. Solo gets punched in the back. No internal bleeding on that one. Roshan punches like a pussy.
Solo actually almost dies here to the AA ulti. And the rest of the VP is kind of around, but again, they had to use Centaur ulti. And I don't really think that they're feeling too confident in taking
They
the
have
engagement.
to. This is it. This is the last fight that they need to make go in their favor. Because if they don't do something here with Silent taking this Roshan, it's game over. And yeah, you're right. With that ulti down on the center, it's going to be tough. Let's see what they can do. Currently, they do nothing, and they're just going to back away. I think they should turn. Go ham. Do it. Do it, VP.
I mean, Silent is... He doesn't care. He will just run into the entirety of VP and be content with that. He did finish his Manta, by the way, which I find a little bit strange. I guess it's okay for open wounds, but that's really the only thing that you can Manta on the team. Or maybe he just built it because it's a little bit better for pushing. Although he doesn't really have that many stats. I guess he has Butterfly Manta, but still. A little bit interesting.
You can go Rapier now as well.
He can go Rapier, actually. That's true.
You can get it really damn quickly. Like, if they really want to farm up a Rapier, they can have it. And G is just, like, he was meant to be so tanky and so, like, big this game. He's fallen off so much. Like, he rushed the Ags, he got it, hasn't been able to kind of sit safely in a team fight, but just because now Silent's damage output with Bloodlusted and also Empowered is nuts. And now we do have a blink on Solo. So he's just like, guys, remember last ulti? You've got a BKB as well on Resolution, so Solo is actually looking to find the Jordan there on the Ancient Apparition, and will find him. Jordan's just like, yo, what up? Space. Easy wants to go and always want to fly. This is not going to go well. Seedoy comes in, Resolution also in the fight, hasn't used RP, and Silent's just killing everybody. Like, it's, there's not much to it. And that's GG. Seedoy's alive, though.
I think they were kind of at the point where they realized how far behind they were.
It was just that one team fight bottom. Like, they were behind, but there was no way to initiate properly, and you almost had to fight, it felt. But you needed your Rubik to be, like, FY.
Yeah, he really needed to be FY that game. I mean,
it's like, yeah, gyro, 14-1. But I mean, Yol didn't play bad at all in terms of his like rotations. He like saved mid in a big way.
Yeah.
Got kills top. Can't remember who we did kill, but he was with BZZ. And then he got his blink, and I was like, ah. And then they were like, nope.
They killed Solo a few times, top, actually. I think that's who they were killing. Because he just walked in with Rage on and just kind of auto-attacked him down. And there wasn't much he could do. But you could see that BP held the advantage for quite some time in the game, to be honest. And the real problem that they had is that Lifestealer is that fighting core, right? We talked about it a little bit earlier in the game, where he doesn't really want to hit creeps. He just wants to hit heroes. You get like 1 or 2 items, you go around, you fight, you continue to fight until you either win or you lose. And unfortunately, Silent had so much help farming that game because of Bloodlust and Power, just the damage that it gives you.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, the whole jungle was stacked. Like I think a few camps were 3 stacked and some other ones were at least double. And he had more than, well, almost double the CS of the Lifestealer at the end of the game. And that just goes to show the priority of what the heroes actually want to do themselves. But Sadoy had a pretty good recovery too. Like he went from not having any CS to like a 18, 17-minute blink dagger or something like that.
That was based off BZZ though.
No, it's
Literally,
true.
It was BZZ that, and also Yol that created the entire game opportunity for VP.
Yeah.
Like, G gave away mid, not just because like he didn't maybe play that well, like if you can say that. It's just like, okay, you're Ogre Magi, that's what you have to play against. It's like, it's not fun. And Resolution in laning phase, I think Resolution's laning phase is actually kind of like sometimes stronger than his team fights.
Yeah.
Like he's so good in lane, and then when he actually goes into those team fights with RPs and stuff, like it really does seem like just like roulette. It's like, you know, it's like you just don't know where the RP is gonna go. He missed one over.
But the one bottom was really good.
Yeah, but that's so easy.
Well, yeah, it was an easy RP, but
what could stop you from RPing bottom? Like, I think even if you got war stomped without BKB on Silent as a gyrocopter, just because of the duration, he probably just needed to like, he would have been able to RP the Centaur, given away RP and not given a fuck, because Silent would have got his BKB off. And Yol was just like at the back going ham with his ward. So yeah, they had everything going for him. I don't know. Yeah, if you wanted to find more like VP.
It's that safe style though that you were talking about. Like Empire pick a team that is very stable, and eventually it becomes too much to deal with. Like they always seem to have these teams that reach a critical mass point where VP reach a stage in the game and they're like, well, we just can't do anything anymore.
I almost feel like VP need to start actually hilling the tier 1 towers like earlier. It sounds weird, right? But VP are often very much like reacting to Empire's initiatives. Like, okay, on the bottom lane, it was obvious that like, okay, this Bristleback not having a fun time. Yoki was getting swiped at a lot. But even after that happened, it's like, okay, so VP, you know, they've got good supports. What do you do with good supports and, you know, a good core? It's like, well, maybe you should just actually plan on taking some towers. I mean, because the Razor, even after getting ganked, had enough kind of like levels that was doing okay on levels. Wasn't like, you know, going to get his axe anytime soon, didn't go mech. But they could still actually fight under towers really well. Like, I think like, I wouldn't have wanted to move Silent. You know, like Silent moving there, you'd have to guarantee that they can't disengage on you, and you're going to hit a cooldown to make it like, you know, really powerful. But the VP don't seem to be like, hey, we're going to make you respond to us. It's always Empire like, hey guys, you should TP mid because we're going to kill G now, and then you know, VP are like, okay.
Yeah, I think that one of the other problems too is we talk about the Razor and how hard of a game G actually had, is like, what keeps them in range of Static Link that game? You had a lift.
No, Centaur Ultimate.
I mean, the Centaur ulti was supposed to be what it was, but it never really synergized that way, you know what I mean? There was always something that made it so G couldn't be in the fight long enough to really make Static Link even matter. And that Silent did so much damage that the AoE that he had, it's 1,000 range on flat cannon.
Like, the Razor's meant to be big mid-game to also get towers and push for 5-man fights. I think Razor in 5-man fights, if you get like a mech or